2 today. We got some more stuff about Tim Michaels coming later down in the broadcast, later down my topic sheet. But to start off everything right now, so like I said, so much to get over or to get to. And I usually, when I make my predictions about things, I'd go from an aspect of experience mixed, just emotion completely out of it. But just what I've seen and for years, if anybody knows me, I've done martial arts my whole life. My grandfather was a professional boxer. I've competitive sparred before, within your school. People that know martial arts that watch this, they'll know that. And we're going to start doing some more aggressive work with our Mu Kwon Do page on Facebook. In addition to One Umbrella and News Undone, I'm a partner there. And this is the Apex News Undone podcast. With that said, Tyson Fury is supposed to be coming out of retirement to fight Anthony Joshua. And what bugs me so much about that fight in particular is I don't see how Anthony Joshua keeps getting these opportunities, because he lost to Youssef. He lost to him. And in addition to him losing to him, he's trying to go against a guy that's 1,000 times better than the guy that he lost to. And he's getting these opportunities because, one, let's just say it and be honest about it. The heavyweight division is not like the lightweights or the welterweights. Those two divisions are stacked. Even with Shakur Stevenson losing his belts because he didn't make weight, the division is still stacked. So apparently he's going to move up in weight. So we'll see about that. It's so many different things that people can watch. You still got the UFC. You still got them doing their thing. You still got them out there putting on some of the best fights. So if you really look at it and you really, really, really pay attention to it from an intellectual standpoint, in my experiences, and this is just my experience, in my experience, you don't have a guy that tries to be a brawler trying to go up against a guy that made his career as a boxer when the sport is boxing and not brawling. And Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, they both irritate me, but I would rather see those two fight. I think that would make for a more explosive, better fight, Joshua versus Wilder, opposed to any of these guys fighting the Russian or the Gypsy King. I just don't see it at this point. Tyson has really made he's made his living off of actually boxing. Now he grades himself as the greatest heavyweight ever in history. I think he has a case for top 20 easily. Arguably top 10, top 5, not sure about that, but there's a possibility. He can't help the era he fought in, but it is what it is. Enough about that one. There's an interesting thing going around that I really want to address. You got the whole Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. And what's funny about this one in particular, and pay close attention to how we do things. Like I said, when we're doing our combat Saturdays and we're talking, and I'm doing more of this now, when we talk about this sort of thing, miss me with the racial element. I don't want to hear it, because everybody that knows me knows I know the history of boxing. I know how racist it is in boxing. I don't even want to talk about that. I really don't, because it frustrates me, because we do media, and I do most of the political stuff for News Undone. When I'm talking about our combat sports, that's all I want to talk about. So yeah, because people are like, oh, when you do this, you should talk about A, B, C, and D, and two of the four was about race. I'm not having it. These boxers are doing fine. Floyd Mayweather is maneuvering Tank's career on a phenomenal level. I love him, but to me, he's the greatest of all time. If you just look at wins, losses, 23 world titles, who he fought against, and in addition to his level of competition and who he fought against, how he carried himself at the highest level when the lights were the brightest, he performed. It's not even arguable. I don't even want to go back and forth with anyone on that. It is what it is. But anyway, we're not talking about Floyd right now. I could go all day about that guy. Look, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia are not going to fight. And the reason I think they're not going to fight is because I think they're both too valuable to their respective companies. Because there's a possibility that Ryan could outbox Tank. I don't think it'll happen, but there's a possibility. If you understand the sweet science, you know why I'm saying that. He's a decent, he's a good tech. I mean, he's pretty technically sound. He knows what to do in certain situations. And on the flip side for Tank, Ryan, because he's technically sound, he looks for openings, within you. He leaves himself to be opened, in some respects. So that's, the problem. With that said, though, I don't think that fight's going to be made because I think both of those young men are too valuable to their company. I don't think that Tank Davis and Devin Haney, I don't think that fight will be able to be made anytime soon because of the Mayweather and the Bob Arum beef. They don't really like each other. Floyd has more of to me, a leg to stand on than Bob. I think Bob kind of took advantage of Floyd. He wanted Floyd to be like Terrence Crawford, but that's a whole nother story. I don't even want to talk about Terrence Crawford. I wonder if we got time for that. Nah, we'll cover that another one. Apparently November 19th, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're supposed to be going at it. So we'll go ahead and we'll chop that up. We might do another broadcast on this weekend. I'm usually going to do one per week as far as in regard to the boxing to give our analysis on it, just from the perspective of people that actually have partaken in martial arts or combat sports. Obviously not at that level, but do have more of a technical understanding than somebody that might just watch it, or a novice, because obviously we're not novices. There's a lot of guys out there that have partook in martial arts and really have good opinions on how these things would go. And then I'll give you my prediction for that at a later broadcast. But the one thing I wanted to kind of address before we tune out for the day, and speaking of that, go to the gym and actually train, is my man David Benavidez. I'm doing an article for News Undone about him right now. David is phenomenal, and I don't think people understand how good of a talent David is. Canelo's not going to fight him ever, and I think Canelo's mandatory. So you would think, boxing has mandatories for a reason, but when these guys don't follow the mandatories, then they're useless. With that said, though, I just think that people need to really, 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 really put in, just have a lot of love for David, because he puts in the hard work. And I got the article on News Undone coming soon, as well as, just kind of evaluating maybe what his next moves and next steps are. All right, next topic.